Hello, welcome to another toneless landscape oil painting demonstration. This is your painter in residence, M. Francis McCarthy, and the painting I'm bringing you today is called Monochromatic Tree and Path, and I completed this a couple days ago, and I'm going to tell you all about it. So we're working on I think it's MDF. It's a bit of MDF I've had around for a little while, but don't worry, it'll come into focus. Don't you worry. Don't worry. Um, this is the deal. Every now and again, if I want to do a painting like a monochromatic or say one of my blue type paintings, that hardboard tone with the brown just won't work. And obviously, a board that's been primed like burnt sienna or something, that ain't gonna work either. So what I have been doing in the past is I have some black gesso that mostly I use for the texturizing when I do that on my boards. And I got white gesso, which I don't hardly use at all, but I'll mix it with the black gesso and then roll it on. The big problem is that you get like these little spots of like black paint that didn't mix in, and it doesn't seem to matter how long you work it with the palette knife, you still get them, and you got to keep rolling and rolling and rolling to get a good surface. So what occurred to me is like, hey, I'll just take one of these boards I primed that way down to the hardware store, the paint store, and see if they got a color that's close. And they did, and then we're looking at it. I think going forward, though, I might neutralize it a little bit. I just got a little tester pot, about 250 mils, which will prime a lot of boards. So I don't know if your local paint store will do those little 250 mil tester pots, but it's compared to what I was doing, it's effortless. You lay down 2 coats of basically what is house paint, and you've got beautiful even coverage. It's quite opaque and covers. It's wonderful, so highly recommend that. Anyway, we're working in there with it's basically Mars Black, and I like to use Mars Black in these more limited palette scenarios, like where it's just a few colors. Here, because of the opacity, so it's Mars Black, it's Mike's Gray, and the Mike's Gray was made with the kind of bog standard titanium white, like you might get from Georgian or Winton, and that is always adulterated with some zinc, so it's not that opaque. I just think having that opacity in the Mars Black, since there's really white and black, it just gives you a lot more flexibility. And all this transparency you're seeing is from the oil itself. And yeah, I'm real happy with the way this painting turned out. Hopefully you'll enjoy seeing me do it. The thing with monochromatics, and I really would encourage you to investigate them. Now, they don't sell quite as readily as the full color paintings, but they're really enjoyable to do. I think they look really cool. Actually, they tend to look more bluish than straight up neutral. I have workarounds for that, like I'll do like a little raw umber glaze, and I think I might do that to this. We'll see. Which is the great thing about me not automatically popping things in the stores. It gives me latitude to do things like that now. I have got a plan for the store. I had a lovely young lady come in who's a really good artist and really has her act together way better than me. Her site's awesome, and I'm gonna take a bunch of ideas from how she put things. What I like about her store is like it shows the painting like several different ways, and you have a person holding it, so you get a sense of the size, and it's gonna be cool. I'm gonna do, like I've been talking about it a while, I'm gonna do a curated approach. Anyway, I have my Mike's Gray, and then of course I've got some titanium white. What I've noticed with these monochromatics is that I really lean into that Mike's Gray more than anything else. That's just a mixture. I shoot for 50% in the value scale between the lightest light of the titanium and the darkest dark of the, in this case, Mars Black. Hey, what do you know? We got an ad for the book coming up. Maybe I should change up the ad for the book. Let me know what you think. You don't care, I know. But many of you have the book, and I think many of you would enjoy having it. So I know it's a little pricey. That's because it's a real book, and I have to ship it from New Zealand. And if you want to have a giggle sometime, look, find New Zealand on a globe, and it's way down on the bottom, surrounded by vast bodies of water. Ever since the pandemic or whatever, the shipping has just been astronomical. But I make it easy for you because I just pay it, and then it's all included in the price of the book. So check that out. Anyway, it's pretty typical what I do. I did my drawing with a thin down black, doing my sky and my path, and then I'm going to go in with the darkest darks, right? That's the same process I use, and process is really, I think it's essential. There's so many. In fact, I'll tell you what. You're going to see the last, oh, I don't know, maybe 2 minutes of the video. Things have changed a little because I thought it was done, but then when I got home and was sort of reviewing the footage, I thought that maybe I had too much separation in the tree clumps, and I needed a more clear silhouette. So thank goodness when I came in the next day, the painting hadn't gone all matte and ugly, which could be the Mars Black. I don't know, because if it was Ivory Black, it might have done. I know if I had some earth pigments, that's a real problem. In fact, I had one I did this last week where it was going matte at the end of the painting session. It was drying. It's summer. Yeah, the earth pigments dry really quick. Mars Black dries okay. It's a pretty good dryer. I'm quite pleased with it. So process is something you can lean into, like do a drawing / underpainting. It's maybe has a bad word. Bad connotations, I should say, because of this how all these not even contemporary anymore. 40s, 50s. These modern artists, they were called mostly like the abstract expressionists. They kind of stunk everything up, where they started doing a lot of things that were sort of half-assed, I guess would be a good word. Some of it's okay. I mean, some of it's quite nice. It's they're leaning into that composition. If the composition's good, people will probably rock and roll with your painting. But that's a topic for another video. Anyway, a lot of the ideas, though, that you don't need to apply the rigor of draftsmanship. You don't need to worry about things like a process, although all of them did employ processes. But the process that, in fact, I'm just going to be working on my third and final video course, and I'm going to be rolling them out in February. You've heard about it. This third and final one, I'm really talking about process because, okay, you got a reference image, and it's very complex. You need a process by which you can go about making a painting from the image. You could get that just from looking at any of my 15-minute videos here. However, I really break it down in the video courses what the logic is behind things. And what I have to say about process is that the process is not necessarily the painting. You have so many decisions to make. If those of you that are painters, you already know the color, the brush, how much paint's coming down, what sort of direction the brush strokes are going, and then there's all the compositional decisions, which are really the main do or die decisions, I have to say. Maybe we got a little time at the end of this video to burble on about that. But the process, having a good regular process like you see me do here, I do this guy, I do a drawing, I do this guy, I put in the darks, and then I basically bring all of the colors in the landforms up to meet the lightest lights in the sky, so I work from dark to light. In the sky, I work from dark to light as well. The exception might be if there's a lot of blue sky, I'll put that in first, then do the darkest clouds on up to the lightest bits. Every painting I do is that way, and there's no reason for me to change or reinvent that because it makes logical sense to take that approach. And I can use that process on a painting that's very good, or I can use the same process on a painting that absolutely fails. But either way, I've got a better shot by having a good process that I can use and follow. and hopefully you're getting that. And we got a little time here, and I know we've lost. We always lose a few down the road. A couple things I want to talk about, but one I am going to write a blog post here in a minute after. I didn't do one this week yet, and that's just mostly because the video course has been cutting into my time and stuff. But I have things to say. You know, if I could get a Michael clone, I would definitely employ him to do that sort of thing. But what I want to talk about is reference images. You know, you've got the process, but you know what? If you don't really hone in on and learn about what sort of images are going to be that you're going to be able to turn into decent paintings, and what changes are required to even do that. So I'll give you, for instance, we've got enough time, I think, to tell the tale. One of my favorite things to paint is this little my sojourns around you know, the world. Basically, I was in France. You know, I went to Fontainebleau, which is where Camille Corot was painting and stuff. And we went to a very small segment of the forest there. It was actually just, you know, like basically an urban area with just a tiny sliver of park in it. And I found in that little sliver of park like 5 or 6 amazing views that I turned into paintings. Some of the best things I've done. And one I just redid on the channel recently. It was from a few years ago, and I just put it up on the channel, a sped up version. I wanted to find more images like that, and one of the things I did was I kind of thought, well, I'll just drag this into an image search. I recommend Yandex, by the way, and get some ideas. A lot of the stuff that comes up is from Wiki Commons and things, so a surprising amount. Okay, you can see we're in the next day, and just, you know, watch and see how I made that a little more clear, that silhouette of the tree. Anyway, what I want to say is a bunch of images came up that were sort of similar, but I have to say that of 300 images that might be presented to me by the search engine, maybe one could be turned into a painting. Okay, and even that one, maybe I'd need to change some of the spacing of things. You know, like in this image, I really moved the tree way over to our left. I left a lot more space on our right. That was very important. I added this path. I did have some assistance from Photoshop there. Added it in the reference, and then I really embraced the curve thing. I thought that was working great. I think I have a good strong composition. It's based on a very old pictorialist photo that was extremely blown out and weird, but with some massaging I was able to turn it into a good reference to make a painting from. And in this case, the thing that really attracted me was that main tree. I thought that was awesome, and of course that's the star of the show, and everything else in the painting is supporting that. But how do you develop that eye to know what is going to be good reference or not? That is a very good question that I don't really think I have the answer to, other than the same old thing you hear from me all the time. You have to basically make a lot of paintings and fail. But what's great though is if you just make a lot of paintings, you won't get too attached to any one painting. You just sit down and make your painting. You keep the good ones, get rid of the bad ones. And after a while, you'll start looking at some of the failed ones, or you'll even look at some of the ones that were pretty okay, and you start, oh, I know what the problem is with this. It's it's the spacing between the where the side of the tree is and the edge of the panel, or it's the spacing between this is a big one, top of the tree and the top of the panel. That's a killer. You go into my blog, go down to 2012, 2013, 14. You'll see what I'm talking about. You'll see my struggles. Anyway, that's it for this video. Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you're having a good new year, and I appreciate you coming around. There's lots of ways to support me if you are of a mind to. Leave me a comment. I really like that. Likes are okay too, whatever. Anyway, until I come back with another video, do me a favor, do me a solid. Take good care of yourself, your family, all your loved ones. Stay out of trouble. And God bless you and your family. Fight. the power.